we're talking about anaerobic power and capacity because there's stuff is called aerobic exercise. There's anaerobic exercise. Aerobic exercise is longer duration. Anaerobic is high intensity, short term. There are ways to test for this, for anaerobic power, and one method is the Wingate test. You could say something about with a Wingate test or testing for anaerobic power, you could probably check on the effects of training. You could see what training would do. You could check an aerobic versus an anaerobic athlete, you know, a sprinter versus an aerobic athlete. So you're getting to it, but I think there's too much methods here. I think you're saying what we did. Don't use words like cardio. You could say known from high level. I don't know. When people say cardio, they say abs, glutes. It's like it's too, like you can talk in a gym like that. You would say cardio is cardiovascular exercise or cardiorespiratory exercise, or glutes or gluteus maximus. Your abs or your abdominals. You know, it's as I try not to be cardio. Probably doesn't bother you guys. You guys talk about cardio, and it's an abbreviation of it's easy cardio.
But it's slang. Yeah,
I think it kind of for a lab write-up cardio like reps. If I said not reps, if I said reps is to me. Why not say repetitions? He does so many reps. So, I don't know. You try to be less. What's the word I'm looking for? Less casual. You want to be more formal. I guess. So I'm looking at this. I would say it would be nice to not say what we did. And again, the hard part is, well, what do I put there? The concept is testing aerobic or anaerobic power and capacity. Why is that important? Right? And so I don't know. Am I beating it to death? Why is anaerobic power and capacity important? Well, some athletic events are anaerobic. And if you want to train people, you want to have some way of measuring their anaerobic power and capacity so you can check on their training progress. Okay. Well, one way to do it is on a cycloergometer. There's a test called the Wingate test. It was developed, in Israel, or you could say the Wingate test is a common test used to measure, and you can describe it. You can say the Wingate test is a 30-second all-out test, where the subject pedals as fast as he can, and we measure anaerobic power and capacity. And so it's less what we did and more why it's important. So it's just hard for me to describe without taking a lot of time to maybe write one. So we'll see how they go. Purpose is good. You got purpose. You got no colon there. In methods, you got no colon here. Shouldn't have a colon here. This is just left justified and no colons. So equipment, you got all the equipment we used. Procedures, again, no colon. You got bullets. So you said what we did. One person recorded the two subjects. There should be an apostrophe after the S. I always get students don't do apostrophes right. If you said I obtained Gary's weight, right? If there was only one subject, we tested the subject's metabolic capacity. If there's multiple subjects, one person recorded the two subjects that comes after. It's this stuff. These are things that get me. It's apostrophes. Learn apostrophes. So they did this, they did this, they did this, they did. Every 5 seconds, did we call out every 5 seconds and record the number at each 5 seconds? Did we say 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or mark? No, we didn't do that. So I'd get rid of this every 5 seconds because we got all that data afterward. I got it from the bio pack. Yeah. But and then 30 seconds. Instead of saying the subject would stop, the subject stopped. After 30 seconds, the subject stopped.
So
and cooled down.
Is it more?
This is all past tense, so you say the subject stopped, and cooled down.
Is it more towards, like, if you look at the lab itself, it's not, I mean, it has to do with those procedures, but it's actually what we did.
Yeah, and so if I were to do it, I would sit down with a blank sheet of paper and like right after lab, I'd say, what did we do? The first bullet point is I introduced everybody to the monarch. We a bullet point saying instructor provided an overview of the Monarch cycle ergometer, because that's what I did. Okay, and so somebody's in the hallway and they go, what's the first thing you did? Well, the subject gave an overview. If you want to be more specific, you can say the professor gave an overview of the Monarch, including resistance setting, seat setting. You know, I mean, that's more specific, but gave an overview. So that's one thing I did. And we did do all that other stuff, right? I mean, it's just a matter of putting the bullet points so that you just cover everything we did, and then you go, God, I got 100 bullet points. I think that's too many. Or I've got 2 bullet points. I don't think that's enough. How do I calibrate it? Well, show it to somebody, a roommate or something, and say, do you kind of get what we did? If they say, I don't know, I mean, I think it looks like it's okay to me. Because you're covering what we did, right? So statistical analysis, no colon, again, but you did say not applicable. Results, so you say table 1 shows this, figure 1 shows that, da-da-da-da-da. That's good. I mean, it's a big lead-in stuff, but you're telling me what to find in table 1. Again, I would use table 1, period. And then here's one that people do. When you look at a research article, look at, let's see, these guys don't have a table. Oh, well, a research article I gave you guys. So the table title should say table 1, don't say shows the, you would just say table 1, descriptive data of subject 1 and 2. Because the shows, here you would say table 1 shows the. So don't use shows the, or it's just the title. The title of this table is descriptive data of subject 1 and 2. And you got it there. Yeah, good table. And then figure, you've got a caption down here, again, no colon, just a period. Instead of saying this data shows, I would have said these data, because these is plural, but I wouldn't even put that there. I would just say figure 1, subject 1 and subject 2 anaerobic power in watts, each 5-second interval over a period of 30 seconds. So the part, you don't say this figure shows, because you would have that somewhere else. You would just give it a caption. It's hard for me to do without looking at this figure, and on this handout I gave you, it says figure 9.1, the percentage of total ATP contributed by energy systems. It doesn't say this figure shows. Yeah. So that's minor. That's just delete. Table 2, again, not this figure shows, just give it a title. There's your title. Questions, no colon. I would number these. One, but he's got, these are boldface. You guys can't tell, but it's boldface. Then he answers boldface. So, but if numbering makes it easier for me to grade them because I know which number I'm looking at. And conclusion, again, no colon. So really, you just delete some colons, fix the introduction a little bit, and you said you didn't do your glycolysis. That's easy to do. So I don't know, do you want to log off of this or whatever? Or do you guys have any questions about this?
Yeah, so for the introduction, basically all the labs are going to be kind of how it relates to training.
How it relates, again, the key thing to answer is, what's the significance or the importance of the concept that we're doing in this lab? So for example, let's say VO2 max. Let's say we're doing a VO2 max. The last lab we're going to do. You guys all know what VO2 max is. Somebody out in the hall goes, what are you doing? Say, we're doing a lab on VO2 max. Why? What's the significance of VO2 max? Holy cow. I mean, if we just talk to him at the Cheerful Tortoise, we say, oh, VO2 max, well, that's a measure of cardiorespiratory fitness. It's defined as the maximum amount of oxygen you can take in and use during large muscle aerobic activity. People with high VO2 maxes are generally Olympic athletes that are, high performers in aerobic exercise. People who are untrained have a low VO2 max. When you do aerobic training, your VO2 max goes up, so it's an indicator of training. It's important to know VO2 max because you can assess somebody's training, you can test them on different devices. I mean, so this whole concept of VO2 max is there's a lot of stuff you could write. It's more than you would ever want to write in a lab write-up, but define it, you can say why it's important, and then say, therefore, the purpose of this lab was to conduct a VO2 max test on a subject.
So as far as why it's important, because, you have
it can,
a description.
It can be training.
Yeah.
I think the easy way to do it is if you think about a lay, if you think about a lay person out there, they're going to start reading your lab, and they're not even going to know what VO2 max is. So it's nice to say maximal oxygen uptake, or VO2 max, is defined as blah. So they, oh, I get it. And then they're reading, oh, it's an important indicator of fitness. Oh, okay. It's higher in aerobic athletes. Oh, okay. It goes up with training. Oh, okay. I think of other things. It's measured in a laboratory, and it can be measured on a treadmill or other devices. Okay. Therefore, the purpose was to do, we could do a lactate. Let's say we did a lactate lab. And the idea was we're going to do a lab where we exercise wind gate test type thing, and we're going to have one person